Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us on the Empowered Mama Summit. We have Dr. Carrie Rose, who is a speaker, coach, and co-founder of course. She is one of Huffington Post's must-follow entrepreneurs of 2017, so you better listen in. Hi, Carrie. Thank you so much for joining us. Tell us a little bit about what you do, and yeah.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I feel super honored and blessed to be sharing with you today. So I am one of the founders of course. So we're a digital product creation company. We help people, entrepreneurs and businesses create powerful and impactful online courses that are connected to the science of learning and really take that, into a really deeper understanding of how do we connect to content to make a difference and to make a transformation. And my current research is into course completion rates and how can we improve those. Industry average is about 3%, and I've had clients get up to 90%. There's a lot that we can be doing to make even a larger impact on the world. So that's my love, my baby, and what I'm working on currently.
I love that so much. And it's, the perfect transition for jumping into the questions that I have for you today. Because creating digital courses, right, as part of, this idea of like estate planning legacy is there are digital assets, right? Mm-hmm. And these courses that you're helping people create are, lasting, they're a long lasting legacy, and really, these courses can reach thousands, millions of people and really create that impact. And so I think that is awesome.
Oh, thank you.
So on that note, what does legacy mean to you?
Oh gosh. That is a powerful question. I think really, what you were just talking about there, what kind of impact did I leave when I'm gone, and what kind of effect did that, have on others? I was talking to a woman today. I went out to lunch with somebody here locally in Orlando for the first time, and she's just a fabulous human being. But I was listening to her story, and she was saying she came over a political exile from Cuba when she was very young. Her family came over. She didn't speak any English, and she moved to North Carolina. And she doesn't speak with a Spanish accent now because she moved straight to a place where nobody spoke Spanish, so she had to adjust. And a church took her in. So this pastor gave her family, a car to fix up, gave them, a place to stay, gave them access to employment, had people taking care of them, and eventually they were able to move out on their own. And her father was an engineer; he was able to get recertified inside of the United States and move on. And she's extremely successful now, and is reaching back out to this pastor that originally helped. But I was looking at it like she's going to reach back out, but you don't always know the degree to which you're helping people. You don't really see the impact of that. And had she not thought to reach back out to him, he may not have ever known.
Yeah.
Right? But that kind of a spirit that is out here in this world right now, impacting others and really trying to bring forth a lot of good energy, bring forth happy people, and create that kind of connection and create those kind of stories. He is living in his full purpose and creating that kind of legacy. So when you're saying legacy to me, I think it's more like, it doesn't have to be that everybody knows your name. It doesn't have to be that you were the richest man in the world. It doesn't have to be, or woman, as this summit would be for. It doesn't have to be any of that. It could be what kind of a lasting impact are you leaving behind you? There was a teacher that I once worked with, and I think her grandmother always told her to always leave a place better than you found it. What if we all always left a person better than we found them? What kind of place would this be?
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that a lot. I think that's great. And it's kind of this idea of, everyone has a story, and, just kind of be kind and really just spread the love, right? And, don't come from a place of judgment, but just, being open to. I love that. So let me ask you, because you are now running an amazing, course creation site, and but you weren't always doing that. And tell me a little bit about why you think, why is living a purposeful life important, and where was your turning point? What was your turning point to kind of go from what you were doing before to what you're doing now?
Sure. Honestly, is a purposeful life important, or why it is, you really only get one go round. I mean, you can believe in as many afterlives as you believe in, but like, if we just look at the one that we have and that we tangibly can access, right? It's this moment, and how you spend it is everything. The level of happiness that you have is everything. And I believe that when people feel like they are relegated to whatever is given to them, kind of like, I'm picturing Oliver, can I have some more porridge or whatever? Like, I think a lot of people feel like that. We set out with kind of this manifest destiny sort of approach, a spirit of capitalism in America. We're like, okay, we're going to make our lives. And for something happens when people graduate from college, and it stops. It's like, okay, I'm going to make my life. It's going to be awesome. And then I got a job. Whatever that job is, you feel like that's it until you get a different job. And then you feel like that's it. And so many people live in that kind of like boxed in world where they sleep in a room that's shaped like a box. They live in a house that's shaped like a box. They go to their employment that's shaped like a box. They drive little boxes to get there. And they never break out of it. And I mean, if you look at, depression and mental health issues in this country, most people are not happy. Their prescription medication for all sorts of things related to their level of happiness or their ability to cope with whatever their situation is. And so I think what I find really beautiful about this moment in history is we are actually allowed to be happy. We are given the access and tools through the magic of the internet to literally do whatever you want. You have to figure out a way to add value to the marketplace inside of your purpose, which is different than just like, okay, I'm going to be happy and live my purpose. Like, you've got to figure out how to monetize it, but it's available to you, and, my transition actually came in a world of beer. Was the initial foray. I met 3 men that were affiliate marketers. They knew SEO, network marketing, that sort of thing. And all of these words I had never heard of. At the time, I was writing my doctoral dissertation on professional development. I thought I would go work for the Department of Education, either local, or either state level or federal level, and really make a difference there. And I found that the words that they were saying were interesting. I wasn't really sure what they meant or what that looked like. So I started going down the rabbit hole, and they gave me access to course after course after course. And I found that a lot of the courses online aren't that good. Just from, we perpetuate old patterns. And so a lot of them were like things that we know better, but don't even necessarily do better inside of the field of education in itself. And like a lot of where I was looking to change there, I was like, well, here's a whole nother avenue to do it in. And there's a whole nother target demographic to help and another audience to help. And I think the moment that really clinched it for me was I went to a Tony Robbins event, Unleash the Power Within. And within 2 months, I was getting a divorce and quit my job. I was like, okay, this life that is no longer serving me and hasn't for like about 10 years, where I thought I needed help, where I thought like I must be doing this wrong because this doesn't feel like living. In that moment of decision was gone. That life ended and a new one started. So yes, much happier ever since.
Yeah, that's incredible because I think around, I was kind of, I did the whole, student thing. I went to law school and I started my own practice and I did all of the things I was supposed to do. And then I get to, 30 and I'm like, is this it? Like, there's no, I was in a long-term relationship and I was doing everything I was supposed to, right? Next in line was I was going to get married and then I was going to have kids or buy a house and then get married, whatever, the next steps were supposed to be. And at 30, I started thinking about, there has to be more to this. There's, I made for a bigger impact. And so, and that alone, I think is empowering, right? Your ability to say, F this life that I'm living that's not serving me and isn't making me, feel empowered. Being able to make that decision is empowering, right? And essentially you're reclaiming your power, right? What is it? The power within, or what was it? Unleash the power within. So, being at that event, right? It's essentially like helping you reclaim that. taking charge of your life and saying, you know what, we're going to do things differently and it's going to be on my terms. And so let me ask you, in terms of, you know, the word empowerment and, you know, reclaiming your power, because that's what we cover. And, you know, as part of this summit, what does empowerment mean to you? And why is, you know, fully stepping into your power and owning it? Like, why is that important?
Right. I think it's important to not just like, I love that you're asking it, because I feel like it's one of those words that gets thrown around a lot. Empowerment gets thrown around a lot. Authenticity gets thrown around a lot. You know, just like, there's a lot of fake people telling you to be authentic. Yeah. Super fun. You know, I feel like, you know, empowering to me, or being empowered, is really just finding that genuine path, right? The path of least resistance, the path where things don't feel so difficult anymore. And when you feel like in complete ownership of what's in front of you, you know? Yeah. And most people don't feel like that. And if they're on your summit right now, more than likely, they're not feeling like that. You know, that's something that they would really love to have. And it's so interesting, because it's really the moment that you say that you are, or that you have it, is the moment that you do. You know, it's like, it doesn't take a whole lot. It may take a lot for you to change variables and situations that may feel constrictive, right? So for me, I had to quit my job. That was a decision that not everybody would have done. And they literally quit my job and got divorced at the same time. So again, we're talking about decisions that not everybody would be comfortable with. Yeah. But from that point on, everything that happened was my own. Yeah. You know, I was no longer relegated to what other people said I should have. It was no longer like, okay, you fit here, you do this thing. It was like, no, it is on my terms. And I decide what comes next, you know? And I feel like when people hit that switch and they understand that it is in them and it has been in you the entire time, that's when empowerment really takes place.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, I think that's key, right? Is that knowing that power is internal. It's not something that you're going to find, you know, outside. There may be coaches that you work with, programs that you do. But that revolves around that internal work, but it's really just kind of pulling out the bit that's, you know, that's inside. So I think that, you know, yeah.
Sometimes people just need help to deal with what those mitigating factors are. Like, what is it that's making you feel not empowered right now? Is it the job that you have? Is it that your kids your kids may have situations, you know, as a mom, like, you know, I was dealing with for a while, like, we thought that my son had ADHD. It turns out he's just gifted. But we were dealing with those kinds of behaviors. You know, if you've got those kinds of situations, it may feel like you are completely weighed down. But then, you know, if you have the right person to work on your mindset to change the situation for you, so that you see them not as something that's weighing you down, but like, this is a blessing. You know, like when you see that something that's weighing you down is either, well, a blessing or something to remove. Like, you're not going to remove your child, you can remove your job, right?
Right.
We can and cannot do, right? But when you start looking at the situation differently, or, you know, maybe you're in a difficult situation, or maybe something happened to you, like if you've had like trauma or some sort of traumatic experience, like, how then can you take that and find the beauty in it? And for most people, that it doesn't come easy. You know, it becomes like the victim mentality and the victim story, and those things can weigh you down for years and years and years. So sometimes working with the right person to peel back those layers can also help you feel more empowered. But like, really, like, the gift within you, like, you were created, you are.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, one of the, a woman that I was speaking to a couple of weeks ago was, you know, saying that, you know, she had this idea that when we are born, we're perfect and whole and complete. And that there's these, you know, kind of series of events that happen that, you know, shift our thinking about ourselves, or, you know, just kind of our circumstances. But, you know, everything is within us. And in terms of, you know, this idea of purpose, right? And finding your purpose in the world and feeling, you know, because I feel like clearly based on the summit is, you know, reclaim your personal power, you know, live a purpose-filled life, and then create your legacy. There's these steps that you take. And in reclaiming our power, in reclaiming, you know, your power, taking control of your life, how would you say that is connected to, you know, figuring out your purpose, or, you know, living a purpose-filled life?
So it's interesting. Like once I, for me, once I made those decisions, I actually like didn't do a whole lot right away. You know, I quit my job, I got divorced, and I went and chilled on the beach a lot, like for a while. And I had graduated with my doctorate prior to this. So like, it wasn't that I didn't have all of the information that I have now, but I didn't know exactly what I was doing with it. It wasn't that I didn't see all of the problems that were inside of online courses, but I wasn't really ready to take that on, or didn't even know that it was mine to take on. But like, we don't, you know, we can't always put the pieces together moving forward. But if we look back, you know, when you look at in my childhood, I had an experience when I was about 4 years old where I ended up I stopped talking for about 6 years. So I went for 6 years as selectively mute. I also have dyslexia. So I didn't start reading. When I was 10 years old, I started 5th grade not knowing how to read. And I had one teacher take me from that to the highest standardized test score that school had seen in 1 year's time. So my passion for learning strategies, my passion for the human brain, my passion for what does it take to make a difference for one when others failed was established like way early on. So, you know, like the purpose isn't something that for me, I needed to really figure out. I mean, I took some time to chill and whatever, but it was like, once the aha came to me, it was kind of like, why the heck didn't you see what was in front of you the whole time? You know what I mean? Like once I just like took some time to chill and figure it out, it was like, this is 100% my purpose. Now finding your purpose, I don't know, it's not lost in the woods somewhere. Like it's right inside of you, you know? So there's no major search, you know? If you listen to what's already there, if you listen to the voice inside of your head, you know, I had talked to my son about his internal Jiminy Cricket when he was little. Like, you hear it? That's there. It's there for a reason, you know, and it's not just your conscience being your guide. It's your conscience guiding you with everything. Like not just how kind are you or was that a good decision, but you can hear why you were put here if you listen right, you know?
Yeah. And you know, I love that, you know, that you're bringing this up because, the idea of, and I think with social media, right, there's so much noise, and for, you know, a mom who is, you know, either, you know, she's either, you know, she's working a 9 to 5 or she's starting a business, but she's being a mom, she's taking care of whatever she needs to take care of at home. And she jumps on social media and sees someone traveling or sees someone, you know, that just got engaged or whatever it is, you know, and realizing that you need to kind of take those moments to chill out, to take a break from all the noise and everything that is external and really tune in to what's inside. Because if you try to listen to all of the outside stuff or, you know, what everyone else is doing, it can really screw you up and you lose sight of who you are and you stop listening to that little whisper or that like little nudge that's saying, hey, this is what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, and I also feel like sometimes, you know, when we see the glamorous life, like we see what everyone else is doing on their social media and their social media presence, it becomes like they can have that and I can't. You know, like if you're feeling like you're not really empowered yet, you may have that perspective. I know I had that perspective initially, like, oh, that's for other people. Like I'm not supposed to have fun. I'm not supposed to have wealth. I'm not supposed to have abundance. I'm not supposed to travel all the time. I'm not supposed to have love. Like there were a lot of those kind of conversations. And if you flip it and go, why am I seeing evidence that this exists? You know what I'm saying? Like, why am I seeing this right now? Like, look at all those people having fun. Oh, wow. You mean fun's for me because it's as close to me. Look at all those people having money. You mean money is this is for me because it's as close to me. You know, like all of my friends are traveling. Well, maybe I should be too. Like it's right here. Love is possible. All these things that are here on this planet, like all varieties of options are possible here, right? Like you could have the worst life ever or the best life ever. And it's really like, aside from mitigating factors that occur, you know, it's really your choice. And even then it's your choice on how you deal with it, whatever else happens, you know? So I think when I started looking at it that way, I would see people like going to these big fancy parties and stuff. And it was like, oh my God, how do they get to do that? Like, I want to do that. And once I switched it to, I want to do that, or I'm going to do that, everything changed. And I remember this year being at this rooftop pool party with all of the people that I had seen in those pictures years prior and going, oh, okay, I guess I made it now. You know, and I think it's important to recognize that too, because so many times we brush over and we don't celebrate when we actually do have what we want.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you're going to continuously raise the bar. Like if you're actually empowering yourself and you're moving yourself forward, your bar is going to go higher and higher and higher. Your idea of what you want to create as far as your legacy, it's going to keep going. But you have to like stop for a second and go, holy cow, like I actually did that thing, you know, and like really truly like embrace it before moving on.
I know, and that shift in perspective, I think, is key, right? It's like, oh, I wish I was doing that. Oh, I want to do that, or I wish I, you know, it's just this like more of like a longing versus like, right. Oh, that's a sign that I'm going to get to take this amazing trip very soon, or I'm gonna, you know, my first like, you know, XK months or 10K months, whatever it is that, you know, or I'm going to get that promotion that I wanted because so-and-so got her promotion, so I'm next, or whatever it is, and seeing it as evidence. And I think that's great. And you know, many times people are like, oh, it's a sign, right? Mm-hmm. Not really connecting to what that means. Well, it's a sign for what? But I think that, you know, and we use that saying a lot, right? Like, oh, it's a sign, or oh, it's, you know, well, sometimes people will say, oh, it's just coincidence, right? But really acknowledging the sign and seeing it as evidence and the power behind that.
You're vibing in that space. You're vibing with those people. That's what you're vibing with. And if you're not seeing any of those kinds of evidence anywhere, find new friends. Like, you know, there's a decision that can be super empowering.
And yeah, that's true. You know, it's, you know, they say like, you are the company you keep, right? Or if it's, you know, if you're the smartest person in the room, like get out, like this idea of, you know, and if the people that you're surrounding yourself with are negative or settled or, you know, don't want more for their lives, and that's who you're around on a consistent basis, you're going to end up, you know, at that same level, and you may feel stuck. And that's, you know, that's the point of this summit, is that as moms, and you're moms, so you understand, a business owner and, you know, like highly educated, you understand that if we kind of just settle in and listen to what society tells us we should be or what we should be doing, we can get stuck in that place where we're like, okay, well, we're a mom and we're doing X, Y, and Z, working this 9 to 5, but having that kind of that longing for more, right? Yeah. And so in terms of, you know, for moms who are feeling stuck, right, are kind of in that job that's not serving them, or maybe the relationship that's not serving them, or whatever it is, living in the town that they can't stand, what would be kind of your one like piece of advice or takeaway from, you know, from your interview here, and in terms of, you know, creating the purpose or finding meaning and creating their legacy?
Sure. You know, I think, you know, the first thing, and I can't remember who said this, but, you know, you're not a tree, move.
Yeah.
You know, like whatever it is that you feel is an obstacle for you, it's not. It's whatever story you tell yourself about the thing. You know, if the thing's an obstacle, then the thing becomes an obstacle. If the thing is a challenge, then it becomes a challenge. I like challenges.
Yeah.
Challenges are fun. I usually win at games, you know, so now it's game. All right, let's play, bring it, you know, and then it becomes something that you can easily do, you know. Don't get discouraged if things don't happen for you as fast as you think that they should. I know that's a problem that I struggle with sometimes, and maybe it's not a problem, it's a challenge. But you know, like some things don't appear as fast as you want them to appear, but keep moving in that general direction. Just keep going for what it is that you do want. And eventually the life that you want will show up right in front of you.
I love that. I love that so much. Yeah. It's, you know, kind of going back to that, the decision-making, right? To kind of decide that the life that you're living is not serving you. And so now it's time to make the change. So knowing that you have the full ability to make that decision and change your life.
Yep. It's all in you. Yeah. No one else can do it.
Well, Carrie, thank you so much for being here. I love this discussion, and just kind of, you know, the idea behind its mindset and you owning, you know, your life is so key. And that even if, you know, you've gotten your PhD and, you know, you were doing one thing and kind of shifting to, you know, this other this other business, right? But knowing that it doesn't matter what you've done to get to where you are now, that it's okay to shift gears, shift your mindset, and pick the life that you want to go in the direction that's going to, you know, suit you better.
Sure. Like, and even then, something else may change. You may
Yeah.
decide, oh, that's
Constantly changing, right?
Yeah.
I love that. You know, your PhD is in professional development, right? And so it's this idea that you're always growing, changing, you know, developing as an individual and, you know, personally and professionally. So, but thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing with our mamas. And if you guys want to reach out to Carrie, we'll have her contact information. You want to launch your own course, you know who to talk to.
Definitely.
And we will see you tomorrow. Take care.